All right, let's move on to
Boot up.
Shipwreck's favorite part of the show, Cheapy's Quest Corner, now with extra Wombat and Shipwreck Sucks. This is an interesting story, Shipwreck. You'll be interested in this because it's about so much more than just VR. It's about our future as consumers. So Facebook, if you haven't heard, Facebook has announced that they're going to be working with select developers to enable in VR game advertising, which means like more traditional like banner type ads in games. Now, people obviously would say like, uh-oh, that's a big uh-oh. People not looking for ads in games. I think unless the ads fit in the games, and sometimes they do fit, like when you're playing a sports game and up on the Jumbotron comes up like an ad for Pepsi or something that would be in keeping with a real sports broadcast. I don't think people would have a problem with that for the most part. But if it's like if you're playing Cyberpunk and like a Trident ad pops up, Trident gum ad pops up, is that still a thing?
Yeah,
it's still around. I don't know. Is that from
I'm also trying to think, what do you mean? What's the context of this Trident gum ad in Cyberpunk? Is it like on a billboard as I'm driving through the city?
Right. Yeah, I guess it depends on how it's presented. And so it may be more acceptable than not. But so this game, which is a game that Wombat's familiar with, signed on to the program. The game is called Blast On. It's a good game. It's a cool game. It's basically like Tron Deadly Discs, except with guns, and you're fighting off with somebody online. So they signed on, and sure enough, the ads were showing up in the game, but they really just looked like fucking like website ads, like slapped on to the. It wasn't done well. Wow. Let's put it that way. Mm-hmm. And so the customers were very upset, and they already said, all right, we're not going to do this. And this is like a $10 game, I believe. And they were like, we're not going to be putting ads in our paid games, but we are going to maybe try it in our free. They have a fishing game that's for free. They are going to try it in the fishing game. They say, here's what the CEO of Resolution Games, who makes Blast On, said. He said, if ads in VR become inevitable as it has on other platforms, we want to ensure that while we have this chance to start over and do it right, we do just that. We welcome any and all of your feedback along the way so we have constructive conversation about this and create the best path forward. But it's not really like ads in other games haven't really become a thing.
It's not inevitable.
Yeah. What's he talking about?
I mean, it's in sports games, but that's really...
It's in sports games. It finds its way in where appropriate in kind of like action games on billboards or whatever. Sometimes there's product placement, like you might have like actual drinks in games.
Sure, like what was that? The Kojima game with the energy drink.
Sure.
Monster energy drink in the Death Stranding.
There's been several examples of that.
Nobody seemed to really care about that.
They always do. There's always people that care about it, but I don't know. That's if he's talking as inevitable as like free to play games on your phone, that's a different thing compared to like games on PC or console.
Yeah, and to be clear, I feel like in this game Blast On, which I've played, so I'm pretty familiar with it, if they implemented the ads in a better way, like if they were more tightly integrated into the game, I think people wouldn't have cared, and they would have felt like sort of even happy for the developer for a game they like, getting a little extra money. But
no, the data players don't care about the developers.
Sometimes, well, maybe for a free game, they are a little more empathetic.
Yeah, if they're paying $10 and it didn't have ads to begin with,
right?
As soon as you stick ads in there,
that's weird. I understand that.
If it doesn't start with ads,
right thing, taking it out.
I get it. Yeah, they are doing the right thing, but there is. I feel like
and Tony Hawk, like if I have like real skate gear, like real companies, like all over the place, it's like, yeah, this makes sense.
Yes.
There's not a lot of games where it
sports games, sense. Only sports games. I know like I'm in the Discord for the table tennis game. And so I read like the developer's really active on there. And he was saying like, to be honest, like we have one of the environments in the game is like a professional, like a tournament arena. And where the ads would normally be in a tournament, it just says 11 table tennis over and over again. And to be honest, like if they had like ads that made sense there,
Trojan condoms.
No, but like butterfly table tennis or I don't
Magnum
know, fucking
condoms.
condoms. Yeah, because table tennis players are just constantly getting laid.
Mhm.
That would make sense if people, and if it looked right, that's the thing. It needs to look right. And in that Blast On game, the ads did not look right. Anyway, what else have we been playing in VR, Wanda? We got Walkabout Mini Golf, which was on sale for like $10, which
That
is
game's pretty good. It's a fun game.
it's so simple and like, but it's another like social space type situation where you can you're basically just like swinging your arm and talking to your friends.
And then I like the where you just have to pull the trigger and it just lines you up at the ball. That was smart.
Yes. And it does, I feel like for mini golf, it really, VR works really well.
Mhm.
I did feel like I was at a mini, even though everything was cartoony and not photorealistic, they did a great job of recreating. I just played
A
like
mini golf course.
yeah, it felt really cool and comfortable. So
Mhm.
I would highly, that's one of the most popular games on the Quest, by the way. It's always on the charts there. So Walkabout Mini Golf. I haven't played it online yet with other people, but I'm going to do that. I also bought Wander, which is basically Google Street Maps. Street Maps? Yeah, Street View. But you can have like a multiplayer party and go on tours and bring people around and go on tours. So Mrs. Cheapy and I went on and we gave a couple guys tours of our old Manhattan neighborhood and our Tokyo neighborhoods, and it was pretty fun. But it made me very sweaty and uncomfortable after a little while. But it's really cool to be able to do that. And that was like $10 too. And I also bought Robo Recall, which is like, have you got that game, Wombat? It's an arcade.
Nope.
It's like an arcade version of Super Hot, where you're basically robots are our maids and stuff, and they're revolting now, and we have to recall all the robots, and we recall them by shooting them or ripping them apart with our hands, ripping their heads off, and throwing their parts at other robots. It's pretty cool. Ty really liked that one before he went to camp.
Nice. I was actually sent. I was provided with Eternal Starlight on the Oculus, which is a real-time strategy game. I was going to say turn-based. It's not. It's real-time.
Yeah, I watched the trailer for that. It looked cool.
It's okay. The map itself is kind of large, but it's large because there's a lot of space in between things. And even though you can make things smaller, it can be a little hard to control things at times. And the tutorial is not the best. They actually said there was an update coming out with a better tutorial. So I'll give it another shot, but it's a little dense for a VR game.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
At TMI Show writes in and asks, asks, how do you stop your Quest 2 from fogging up when playing Supernatural?
You don't.
Isn't there some like anti-fog liquid that you can put on the lenses?
I don't know. If you're playing Supernatural, if you're doing it right, it's gonna fog up.
What about like skiers? They put that stuff on their ski goggles.
I just go like this every now and again, like between the songs. I'll just like
lift it off your face.
Lift it off my face, let the fog come out, and then put it back on, and then I'm fine.
There it is.
Yep.
All right, let's do a What Would Wombat Do Tales from Retail. I was told that you have your own tale from Retail, Wombat.
Yeah, I'm very curious to hear your perspectives on this.
Okay.
I have a feeling I know what you guys would do, and I believe the answer to that is going to be nothing.
Okay, so this is what will Cheapy and Shipwreck do?
It's more of a what will Cheapy and Shipwreck do, and this is what I did.
Uh-huh.
So I ordered for my son a toy from GameStop.com, a Fortnite toy.
Okay.
To be specific, because I have the box right here.
Fortnite dildo?
It was the Fortnite dildo, the Fortnite vending machine of the scientist. This is the box it comes in. So I ordered that for him. And the deal they were having is if you ordered that, it comes with 1 of 4 free other figures. It'll come with 1 of 4 for free. You order this one, but they don't tell you what it is. It's 1 of 4 at random. So I'm like, whatever.
Somebody take all these Fortnite figures.
Yeah, I'm like, whatever. He really wanted the scientist. It was his, congratulations on making it through 4th grade, reward. And it came, not only did the box come, but they actually sent me not 1 of 4, but all 4 of the bonus figures. So that's thing number 1. I wasn't going to complain about that or do anything about it. I just thought that was pretty funny. that they sent me all 4 instead of the thing. And here's
Yeah,
the thing.
you really can't do anything about that at that point.
No.
It's like, what are you going to do? Show up at GameStop and tell them, hey, you have no way of returning these other 3 figures that you sent me.
Right.
Yeah.
But
So yeah, everyone gets something.
Okay.
Right.
Everyone wins. So the other thing was, now you can't really see, but this is all the stuff that's supposed to be in the vending machine. It has the figure and it has these back blings. And this one right here, the gauge back bling, is something that Elliot wanted very much out of this box. So we opened it. He was actually legitimately excited for a backpack for an action figure. So we go through the vending machine and we open the whole thing up. And they're all individually wrapped items inside the big box. And we're opening it up, and we get to the last bag, and the last bag was sealed but empty. And of course, that bag had the backpack that he wanted the most.
You mean, it was just air. It was just a clear bag.
Yeah, it was the bags are white, but it was just a white empty bag. So he did not get the one backpack that he wanted the most out of this box.
Yep.
He got the action figure and all the guns and the other 3 back blings. He got everything but that.
Yep.
So the question is, I'll tell you what I did, but my first question, what do you do in this situation?
How much does that thing cost? How much
you
does
give him the other action figures?
Huh?
You say, oh, I'm sorry that happened, but then you just give him the other action figures.
I mean, he got the other action figures. Obviously.
That's end of story on my end.
You're done. You're not doing anything.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm like, oh, you didn't get that happens sometimes. Here's some more action figures. Look what else you got. You got 3 other figures.
4
other figures. I would have saved one.
I would have said, actually, you got the new invisible backpack. Open. Yeah, no.
So I look and I'm like, first of all, I'm not repackaging all of this to go return it or exchange it because that's ridiculous. And at first, that was my first reaction. I was like, buddy, you got all this stuff. It's still good. It's still fine. You still got the action figure. This is great. And I'm like, you know what? There's a phone number on the box. It says, do not return to store. If something's missing, call this number. It says it on the box.
Oh, okay.
So I called the number.
Yeah.
And it goes straight to voicemail. And the message says, also, please go to our website. If you're missing a piece, go to our website and fill out the form. So I go to their website. I fill out the form because it was missing a piece. And I would say maybe an hour and a half later, I actually did get a phone call back from Jazzwares. And Jazzwares was like, well, if we have the piece, we'll send it to you. But if we don't, it could take up 10 weeks or more before we could find it again. And if we can't find it, maybe we send you something else, but we have to try to find it. And I'm like, okay, so what should I do? It's like, well, we actually recommend maybe you should just call the store. I'm like, but the box specifically says do not call store. I'm like, okay, no problem. I appreciate you looking. And, they're like, yeah, we'll update you as soon as we know something. I'm like, sounds good. Thank you very much. I get off the phone. I'm like, well, I guess I'll call GameStop. What's the worst that can happen?
You've gone way further down this path than I would have.
Well, first I was going to call GameStop and I'm like, this is ridiculous. And I I clicked the tracking number on my package and I went to the chat instead. I'm like, I'll chat this out because I could do that sitting down. I don't have to wait on hold. And the chat guy was like, what's the problem here? And I go, the vending machine box was missing an item. And he goes, well, let me check with FedEx. I'm like, no, you don't understand.
Yeah, that guy's never going to understand what you're saying here.
I'm like, he's
just trying to do his job, Wombat. And you're telling him about vending boxes and action figure boxes.
And then here's the thing. It's like, no, not that the tracking was fine and everything showed up, but something in the box was missing. He goes, I think I understand. He's like, I think I get it. I'll have it resent. So 3 days later, I get another vending machine. Not the little piece, but another big box.
Well, yeah, that's what GameStop is going to do.
That's what they're going to do. They're like, don't do anything with the old one. Here's your new box. And we opened it up, and obviously it did have the missing backpack in that one. I told Elliot too when I opened it, I'm like, if there's no backpack in this one, then too damn bad. And wait, here's the kicker. This all happened like 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago, before, because we skipped a week. Yesterday, I got an email from Jazzwares saying that my replacement is on its way and should be here by Saturday.
Good. So both of your scientists will have backpacks. Fantastic.
Yeah. So that's the whole story. That's what I went through. I probably went through too much, but I think I'm gonna wind up with either 2 or 3 of the same thing. So
might as well retire
and some
now.
extra figures. I know.
So, like, how you gonna? Why even go back to work?
Exactly. I'm flush with Fortnite scientists.
I was thinking about that when I found out those Game Boy Advance games that I posted about.
Yeah, when you found $80,000 worth of Game Boy Advance games. Jeez.
So I didn't realize that Game Boy Advance games had shot up in value recently. Like I know things like, yeah, sure, like things are worth a decent amount, but I had no idea that sealed GBA games are some of those are up in the thousands now. Yeah. And what happened was, back when I was buying all these Game Boy Advance games, it was all during that time where Toys R Us and Circuit City and Blockbuster and Kmart were all having weekly clearances, it seemed like, where everything was like $5 and you go in with your list and you buy all the games. And so I bought all the games because I wasn't really even looking for Game Boy Advance games at that point. I was just there buying whatever games for $5. So now I have to look into grading. Have you guys? I know you guys are really big into grading video games, right?
That's what I do when I'm not
7.5. Everything's 7.5. Yeah.
When I'm not scamming GameStop out of action figures.
You're grading games.
Yeah, look, I even have some still in the package. You want some?
Hold on to that, Wombat. In about 30 years,
it might be worth
something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now I have to look into this, like how to send off games. It's like there's like 2 companies and you got to pick which company you want to go with, and it's like $60 a game to get it graded, and it takes like,
oh my god,
8 to 10 weeks.
I'm going to say hold on to the games and don't get them graded. I wouldn't send them away. I think what you have, because I know they're going to be in perfect shape, and I say hold on to them.
It makes me nervous though. Like I need to like as I was grabbing them off the shelf and like looking up like prices, like, because the whole thing came about because I saw that Metroid Fusion was going for a lot because they announced the new Metroid game. And so like that one was upward of, I can't remember if it was that one or the Metroid Zero Mission. One of them was like $1,200 and the other one was like $800. These things were going for. And I'm like, I think I have those. And so I went downstairs and I started pulling off sealed copies of games off the shelf and just like looking them up to see how much they were going for. And it was ridiculous. I don't understand what's going on.
It's pretty good return on your investment.
Who are the people paying these? Like, if it's not me paying these amounts,
right?
Who's paying these amounts for these games?
You only need 1 or 2 people.
I guess so.
Palmer Lucky. Probably Palmer Lucky.
Yeah, I don't know. I've quarantined them off to their own shelf now, so that I know like they're completely out of kids' reach.
Fireproof box.
Not to open up.
Fireproof safe.
Everything's insured, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Get everything insured.
Okay.